Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another week of readings. So, okay, sorry, before we get started, just want to go ahead and clean. If you are a social media tarot watcher, reader, regular, I mean, there's just so many ways where, you get this reader that's like, I've tried recording this several times, and I'm in that boat. I've tried recording this several times, and the first time I was like, I know that I can't do this reading. I can't start off doing this reading because I know that the cards that come out are going to be for me. They're not going to be for the collective. So I had to stop, do my own reading, and clear that out of the way. And so now I'm back tapped into the collective, and reading from that standpoint. So let's go ahead and do a weekly reading. Kind of look into the energies. First, I want to get kind of, if this resonates with you, then the cards from the Kipper will give you some clues as to whether or not this is your reading. And again, if it does not resonate, don't make it fit. That's fine. Also, these readings are for people 18 and above. Yeah, so let's get into it. Let's see, I think this one wanted to come out. There is something about change this week. Something about change. Possibly something about transportation. There's a car there. Oh, look at that. False person. Interesting. Change with a false person. And journey in the reverse. Now, to me, I don't think a lot of readers read these cards in the reverse, but I like these odds. So I'm just going to take it how it was received. Journey in the reverse to me seems like something is returning. And I know, please don't tell me the story. This is about something coming back. Could be for your review, for you to understand, for you to make peace with. And we also have Mars, I think Mars in Gemini retrograde. And I know Uranus is in Taurus, but I don't know if that makes a big difference. Anyway, so let's look at this. We've got change coming this week. If this resonates, change, a false person, and someone making a return. So if that sounds like your story, this might be the reading for you. Let's go about getting the energy for the week. So I'm just going to look at every day, starting with tomorrow, which is Monday, Halloween Day in the United States. October 31st. And let's see what Spirit has to say. I'm just going to pull from the top here. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Move this stuff around. And Sunday. Ooh, wow. Nice. Okay. I just want to make sure you all can see all of those in one go. All right, great. So let's get a read here. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Cups. I'm just going to put that up here. Monday, we have the Empress in reverse. Tuesday, we have the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. Wednesday, King of Swords. Thursday, Ace of Wands. Friday, Death. Saturday, the Eight of Swords in reverse. And Sunday, the Tower. So let's take a look here. So Monday, the Empress in reverse. The Empress in reverse, I believe, talks about there's just big release here. And it's not, what I'm sensing here is not so much, it's not so much a release in the sense that it's almost like a giving birth, like a release from earth, like a it's like there's some part of the earth that's going to be expressing itself by releasing. I'm not quite sure. So the Empress is connected. The Empress is connected with the earth signs. Very much about fertility. I think this is actually Venus. I think this is Venus. Yeah. So, but when it's in reverse, there's this idea of it's so weird. I'm trying to put it into words. It's like a release from freedom. And I don't know if that means something for somebody. A release from freedom. I don't know if that might mean something for somebody. So I'm just going to move forward and we'll get into clarifying it in a little bit. On Tuesday, the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, this is talking about a change in pattern. Like maybe even, you're looking at how you make your money, how you make your money is changing, how you, like your approach, your artistic approach, or your process is changing, the way you deal with your money is changing. You could be looking at your finances again, something like that. In the United States, I don't know how it is in the rest of the world, but I believe October, no, I think that's September. But it's like, this is the beginning of like a new fiscal year in some way. So Wednesday, let's see, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday is the King of Swords upright. King of Swords talks about being ready to go to battle, like being prepared to being prepared, not so much to go to battle, but being prepared to show the ability, show your strength. And you're showing your strength through logic, through your words, through your thinking and your strategizing. And I really think it's something coming off of this Eight of Pentacles in reverse, where you're rethinking, you're restructuring, right? You're restructuring a pattern or a process or a way of handling money, or even your finances, or it could even be an approach to your art, the way you do something that is, it's like you're changing that up. And so that King of Swords kind of comes in on that Wednesday and says, it's almost like you're taking your power back, but you're taking it back in the sense of the way that you think about it, if that makes any sense. So now we look at the Ace of Wands coming in on the Thursday. And this is about the universe presenting you with, it's like presenting you with new fire, new passion, new creation, new source of creation, right? Where the King of Swords holds the sword, he doesn't always take action with it. Sometimes it's just words, sometimes it's just thought. But the Ace of Wands is like, okay, you were the King of Wands here, and you had all these ideas, you had all this clarity, you came up with some really good strategy, and the Ace of Wands is saying, how are you going to now implement that? And it could also even be a test of whether or not you'll use it in the way that you are supposed to, in your own individual way, use that power. Because now look, we get into looking at the cards falling where they are. I feel like Monday and Tuesday are just kind of a lead up into this kind of a closing out and a lead up to this new energy, because, you know, this Eight of Pentacles in reverse falls on November 1st, the beginning of the new month. And then the King of Swords and everything else starts falling in line with these cards, with the change, the false person, and the journey in reverse. So it is a revisiting of the past, and I just feel like this Ace of Wands might even be testing whether or not you have the ability to act on what it is that you know, how you are strategizing, your new strategy, the way you see yourself, your maturity, all of that. Everything that you know is coming together in this King of Swords. And this Ace of Wands comes back in and is like, hey, look, I'm handing you an opportunity. I'm handing you an opportunity to act on something. But what is that something? All right. So I feel like I'm looking at these two cards together, the Ace of Wands and the Death card. Now, the Death card is Scorpio. This Death card is represented by the sign of Scorpio. And we just had the, I think it was solar eclipse or lunar eclipse. We just had an eclipse in the new moon of Scorpio, right? So I feel as if there is something coming through that happened around the eclipse, which was about a week ago. Yeah, close to a week ago. And it's kind of saying, you know, I'm giving you this opportunity out of this eclipse. Are you going to return to the past, or are you going to allow this complete death transformation? And when I say death transformation, I just mean regular transformation. I don't mean physical death, but are you going to allow the past to be the past and move on from it? Like, okay, so the Scorpio new moon was about a deep letting go, not letting your past hold you back. I think I've even got it here, working through your fears. With an eclipse energy, you're expecting powerful change, right? So there really is you, like, if you accept this Ace of Wands, this new beginning, you're going to have to be really dead set on what it is that you need, what your boundaries are, how you've changed. Does this opportunity align with the new you? Not even the new you, but the you that you didn't stick up for so long, right? Okay, so let's move into, let's see. Now this death energy came in on that Friday, on this coming Friday. We've got the Eight of Swords in reverse on Saturday. This is an energy of freeing yourself, not being blinded. No longer, honestly, with this Eight of Swords in reverse, it's almost like you're refusing to gaslight yourself anymore. You're refusing to be blinded by the, what's the word for these? What am I feeling into that? You're no longer being trapped by your own thoughts. You're no longer being trapped by other people's ideas, by other people's expectations or projections, and you're not gaslighting yourself not to see those things anymore, right? And then on Sunday we have the Tower upright. There is the complete obliteration of something coming in. And I know all tarot readers say this, but I totally agree. Like, this Tower is coming in to make a change. Like, if you don't stick to your stuff, if you don't stick to, protecting your inner child, protecting your inner parent, protecting your inner teenager, protecting yourself in a way that is not predicated on the past anymore, but protecting yourself in a way that is mature and that is rooted in, it's rooted in truth and rooted in the present, not just rooted in the present, but it's looking at a clear path for the future and for release from projections and from gaslighting yourself, right? So the tower on that Sunday coming in is like, it's going to do something for you, right? It's going to change. It's going to break down something for you, whether you know that thing is good for you or not. The tower is not here to look for your approval or your permission to break something down. It's going to break something down. The question is, are you going to be on the outside like, yeah, I'm good with this breaking down? Or are you going to be in the inside of the tower when it comes down and all around you? And are you going to be like, oh, I didn't know. Like, I didn't know this was going to happen, or I didn't know this needed to happen. And then live in like victimhood and blame and, looking externally, right? For, oh, it was that person's fault. It was that person, it's really you. Are you going to be on the outside taking accountability, or are you going to be on the inside acting like you were a victim and you didn't know what you were doing? Okay. So the Knight of Cups at the bottom here talks about this week. This week is an opportunity for emotional progress. The Knight of Cups often is spoken about as if he is, bringing some sort of like romantic offer, right? But the thing about the Knight of Cups is that, this is an intermediate energy. Usually whatever is in the cup is, when the knight no longer has water in the cup, he's given all the water out. He has to go back and get more water. But when he goes back to get more water, is he going to remember to bring that cup back to you, right? So that's the energy of the Knight of Cups. It's remembering that all things need refilling, right? All things need rejuvenation. There's a cycle even in the way that people offer themselves their love to you. They don't have endless cups to give, right? And so I think there is a need to remember this week. Making sure that you know what you need before this Knight of Cups shows up and you, parched and thirsty, have been waiting for something to drink and look, there are no cups here in any of this week, any of this reading. This is all thinking and fire and money and releasing. It's very mental and spiritual. And so instead of looking externally for someone to bring you a cup of love, I think it really is time to progress and learn how to offer yourself love, right? Not depending on something external to come in and water you or fill your cup. And I will say, this, even though this week is full of like, okay, I've got this, I've got to do this, finding compassion for yourself, finding out where your well of emotion and love and support is, instead of, again, waiting for this Knight of Cups. Because in every sense of the word, you can also be a Knight of Cups. You can also be someone who offers, and offers with the understanding like, look, I have a cup to give. I cannot guarantee that this cup is endless, being very matter of fact and upfront. And then when the cup is empty, say, hey, my cup is empty and I need to go refill it. When I come back, will you be here, right? Or, it's that kind of thing. But it's knowing yourself well enough to know your cup and know what you can give. And I think that's what this week is about. Because a lot of readers say, oh, someone's coming back, someone's coming back, someone's coming back. But it's not so much what's coming back, it's what happened in the past that reminds you of the situation. Because I think what is coming forward is, who was I in that person that I'm waiting to come back? Why am I waiting for them to come back? Right? There really is that switching. This is a form of shadow. It's a form of shadow work to have that line of questioning. What is it in the other person that I'm waiting to return to me? What did you, the question is, what did you leave there? And this doesn't even have to be with just romantic. It could be with family issues. It could be, previous jobs or things, professions or careers that you wanted to do and, weren't able to do, right? It could be anything, any kind of a relationship. But there is change coming. There's no doubt. And there is a false person. There's definitely a false person. The question is, are you the false person? Are you going to be the one that's gaslighting yourself, right? Are you releasing that? Are you going to allow that to happen? Are you going to allow this false person, however that person shows up, whether it be through a job, through whatever, activity or whatever, are you going to be able to recognize the falseness of you in that other person so that you know that the offer, this opportunity, this Ace of Wands is a shit offer? Okay, so let's go ahead. How many? I didn't really mean to go this long, but Spirit is really good today. I don't think I really even need to clarify this reading, but I do want to give some guidance. So I want to use my grandma baby Lenormand cards for guidance. Because even with these cards, it's kind of like, it really is feeling into a little bit of, mostly intuition, but there's usually messages in it too that are intuitive. Well, sorry, I got this mixed up. So there are messages that are attached to the cards that come in the book, but this deck is also very much an intuitive deck, so I really like it. All right, Spirit, can you give us some guidance for this reading for this week for the collective? Can you give us some guidance for this week? Thank you. Whoa. Wow, I feel like we had this before. Since I'm new with these cards, I'm not going to read them upside down. All right. Wow. I feel like it came out like this. Okay, so we've got the 6 of clubs. And this is from Painting Grave Marker and Cemetery, All Saints Day in New Roads, Louisiana. 6 of clubs. Then we've got the Queen of Clubs, Snake Eater Sideshow, Donaldsonville, Louisiana, November 1938 by Russell Lee. Now all of these photos are coming from the Library of Congress. It's very interesting. And then finally we have the Whip, the Jack of Clubs. There's a lot of club energy here. It's very interesting. I think you're ready to bury something from the past. And what's happening is you're revisiting this past. And look, it says cross on there. It's so faint, but it says cross. And there was some, when I last used these cards, there was the energy of crossroads there. I feel as if you're revisiting the scene of the crime, or someone is trying to revisit the scene of the crime, right? And when I say scene of the crime, I don't even know why I said that. Someone is revisiting where something broke, where something devastating happened, where something something was lost. Because look, we've got this this man painting a grave marker. So I wonder if someone is coming back, someone or something is coming back to see, like, were you really, where it's almost, honestly, it gives, it's like a little bit of psychologically sadistic, which is why this false person here, and it could, look at that, it could be someone with red hair, could be someone who, I mean, there could be a mask being worn, of course, we're still in these times of mask wearing, which is fine, and maybe you can only tell by their eyes, because you've also got the man here in the back with a mask on as well. So it could be anyone as the false person. And then you've got snake over top of that, and it's a snake eater that's in this card of the Queen of Clubs. So I feel as if there's someone who's revisiting the scene of the crime, which is the place of hurt. Maybe even think back to what happened last year this time, during the last set of eclipses, and look at, you know, what were you doing then? What were you working on then? So maybe even it's you going back to an old project or an old friendship, and in some ways you can make this work for you by going back and doing this revisiting, if it has to do with like a friendship or something like that, but really going back and observing, okay, is this something that truly needs to be done? And if it needs to be done, what have I learned from it? What have, you know, this man painting this gravestone is like, I am going to remember this because I learned from this. And so I will venerate this by painting it and identifying it and making it a milestone, or, you know, decorating it, that kind of a thing. Now, this, and, you know, there's already so many sides to this, but if we go back to a person revisiting the scene of the crime and we look at the snake, you know, I look at this is Queen of Clubs energy, which I also believe, I think clubs is perpendicular to, oh my gosh, I was just learning about this. I can't remember which element it's perpendicular to. I want to say it's pentacles, but I'm not sure. But either way, the energy that I get from this is thinking about the Kundalini energy and how it's described as a snake coiled at the base of our spine. And I sense here, right? I sense here that there is some sort of once that snake has extended, someone is going to try and eat that energy. Someone wants to feast on it. Someone wants to eat your healing. So the question here with this snake energy, the snake eater, are you set to identify, right, who wants to eat your healing? Like, who wants to feast on it? Who, and that's almost energetic vampirism, right? You've got to know. Let's see. I meant to pull the book out to read it, but I went right into my own interpretation intuitive hits and everything. Now, the third card here is, we already had this come out not long ago, and I think it came out, when it came out, the Jack of Clubs came out, and it completely reminded me of the Tower card, and here we are dealing with the Tower card. Something here, it just is feeling like this bolt of lightning, and it could even be a flash of insight that makes everything kind of crumble, and you fully understand something. You fully understand what has happened and why it has happened. But end of the day, let me read about this snake. What's that? I think that's 7. Card 7. Okay, snake. This is a discernment. Queen of Clubs. The element of fire. So I think Queen of Clubs must be Queen of Wands. Who decided the snake was a trickster and a devil? Who gets the power to tell our stories? Before our indigenous culture was demonized, before it was forced underground to protect us from violence, ancestors were thriving by it for thousands of years. In reuniting with our loving ancestors, we gained clarity about shame that was never ours to carry. We get to hear their stories as they were meant to be told. Generally, this card asks, are you a threat or are they threatened? Knowing someone somewhere benefits from your shame, ask, who is benefiting from your shame? Who stands to gain from your disempowerment? And how have you become complicit? And I'm looking at this 8 of Swords in reverse and self-gaslighting. How have you become complicit in their cruel design? This journey of unlearning is long, but be willing to see it through to the end, not just until it's convenient for you. If you're committed to shedding programming that isn't rooted in liberation, shed it all. So it's funny, like, yeah, the instant that I saw the snake, I saw healing. And looking at this snake eater, it's not so much that the person doing this is wrong, but the question is, I think the snake represents shame. Someone is coming back to the scene of the crime to see if they can make you feel shame. And if they can make you feel shame after that snake at the base and the coil of your spine has healed, you've gone through a kundalini healing process, and the snake has come forward and is like, I'm ready, I'm stretched out, I've got power now. Someone wants to come along and see, are you ashamed of your past? And what shame does, right? Shame is such a patriarchal control tactic, like toxic patriarchal control tactic that shame is. You should know. I've been doing a whole bunch of looking into shame as a tool of supremacy. Shame is a tool. Shame is a tool. It's meant to control, right? It's meant to control. It's meant to manipulate. It's meant to make you feel bad as you place yourself or your ideas against your ideas and goals and everything against a certain standard. Shame is a control and manipulation tactic. And so someone is coming into the scene of the crime, looking closely. It's almost like two people coming together. One could be you. You're looking at like, oh man, let me go back and revisit this because I want to make sure that I remember this and that this is deeply ingrained about how I shouldn't feel shame, and I should let the understanding and the knowledge come into me and knock down any barriers against whatever connects me to my higher self, this lightning bolt, right? Someone else is coming in and saying, ooh, let me see if I can decorate their grave, because they're looking at you as the person underneath this grave marker. They're looking to come in and see if they can get some shame out of you, because that's what they feed off of. That's what keeps them going. That's what keeps them alive, right? You feeling shame. And then, of course, instead of you connecting to your higher self by a lightning bolt, they're using this as a whip. They are wanting to destroy you. And it could be this play between, we currently have North Node, I think is it North Node Taurus? And South Node Scorpio on the astrological axis. Of course, this is something you'll have to look up, but this also could just be the two sides of yourself going at it, right? Two combating sides of yourself, and you're finally like, this is the final battle, the final boss level. Okay, so that's the reading for the week. If you have any more questions, of course, about this reading, or if you would like your own personal reading, please reach out and let me know, and we'll get something set up. But I want you to have a progressive week, and I will see you again soon. All right, bye.